If you follow this universe, then there's no doubt you've heard of the racism issue that the cast of Obi-Wan Kenobi had to face. That was very sad. But did you know that the Lord of the Rings producers are doing the same thing? They're accusing fans of racism without showing us any proof. Something doesn't seem right here, and we're going to talk about how they're copying the Obi-Wan strategy to deal with haters unjustly. First off, let's talk about what the Obi-Wan strategy was. When it concerns the Lord of the Rings of Power series, Amazon Studios and Prime Video are exactly adhering to the marketing plan outlined by Obi-Wan Kenobi of the Walt Disney Company. If you recall, the actress Moses Ingram told The Independent that Lucasfilm had given her training on how to handle complaints of racism. Ingram would also insult fans of the Star Wars film franchise by asserting the ridiculous notion that black people didn't exist in the Star Wars universe, even though figures like Lando Calrissian and Mace Windu are among the most adored ones. Nevertheless, Obi-Wan will offer the greatest diversity to the galaxy, according to Ingram. It was long overdue, she added. It doesn't make sense to have talking robots and aliens but no characters of color. We're only at the start of that transition since it's 2022. However, starting anything new is better than never doing so. After the show's debut, Ingram promptly shared a handful of screenshots that she characterized as hateful. However, the majority of them called her out for pretending to be the first black person to play a Star Wars character and referred to Disney's own diversity mandates that they've openly boasted about through their Reimagine Tomorrow project. Ewan McGregor was then brought out by the firm, and he started criticizing Star Wars fans as well. He claimed to be disturbed by the kind of remarks he discovered on Moses' Instagram. Next up, what's the situation with the Lord of the Rings? Are the actors facing something familiar? The same approach is being taken by Prime Video. They first cast Lenny Henry, Sofia Nomvetti, and Ismael Cruz Cordova as hobbits, dwarves, and elves, respectively, even though J.R.R. Tolkien's works clearly represent these characters in these roles. The actors, however, turned hostile towards the fan base after that. At San Diego Comic-Con and in numerous media appearances, Nomvetti led the charge while delivering an obviously pre-written message. She originally told PA Media that the mix in film and television, the television industry, and of course this brand is being restored, and she hoped that many other franchises would follow. She also argued that this is the Tolkien of the future generations, implying that the show is a modification of his writing. Nomvetti went on to say that the entire program is an erasure of Tolkien's work and is actually more of a reflection of the world we live in than, Tolkien's actual works. She expressed the hope that many people will view this fantasy and be able to connect to it because it's their time and it's quite significant. This is a mirror of the world in which we live. It's diverse. There are many people in it, and we'll embrace it and continue to study, explore, and educate ourselves. There were no black characters in the first 3 films in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, according to Lenny Henry, but this program is unique. It appears that the major fantasy franchises are finally becoming more diverse, and that's what they want to see from now on. Moving on, did you know they accused the fans of racism? Fans of the Lord of the Rings were accused of racism by Prime Video when they posted the hashtag #YouWereAllWelcome on Twitter in support of the cast. They shared 3 posts on Instagram. The first declared that the Rings of Power cast is totally united in opposition to the ongoing racism, threats, harassment, and abuse that some of its castmates of color are experiencing regularly. They won't put up with it or tolerate it. The second said that J.R.R. Tolkien built a universe that's multicultural by nature, a society in which free individuals of all races and cultures work cooperatively to subdue the forces of evil. That's reflected in Rings of Power. Both their worlds and Middle-earth have never been completely white. BIPOC are a permanent fixture in Middle-earth, and they belong there. Their last post was to thank all the supporters by saying that they appreciate them, and they're the ones who the actors give their best for in every performance. They also apologized to all the fans who are of color and are being mocked for it, and said that they hear them and appreciate the love and creativity they bring to the show. Finally, did they have any evidence for this accusation of racism? No. The alleged racism that Prime Video is condemning is not supported by any evidence, but there is a ton of proof that their show is awful, that they purposefully changed Tolkien's original works to match the present day rather than his original works, and that Prime Video intended to target fans as racists from the start. And that last point was made quite clear when they started this year's primary marketing campaign in February, using Vanity Fair as a stand-in to target followers. A political operative named Maria Rios Maldonado, who claimed to be a Tolkien expert, expert was discovered by Vanity Fair. She said that these supposed haters don't like the fact that the actors are of color. The executive producer of the program, Lindsay Weber, was quoted as saying that it seemed only logical to them that a production of Tolkien's writings would depict what the world truly looks like. This suggestion of racism was placed next to her statement, "Tolkien is accessible to anyone." In his writings, fictitious races demonstrate how they may collaborate and achieve greater success when they leave the confines of their individual traditions. The fact that the official Star Wars account genuinely replied to the tweets from the Rings of Power account posting from Middle-earth to a galaxy far, far away is perhaps the biggest red flag that the entire thing is a huge corporate advertising operation that mimics Star Wars' own activity. Hashtag you are all welcome here. This hashtag doesn't even make sense in this case and just seems like a strategy created by them to target the haters. And now for some other related news. First off, the breathtakingly stunning series, Rings of Power, is more deserving of a big screen release. Prequels to beloved fantasy tales appear to be popular right now. The eagerly anticipated, massively popular Lord of the Rings prequel, The Rings of Power, is following closely on the heels of House of the Dragon. The awesome legends of the Second Age of Middle-earth's history are brought to the big stage for the first moment in this epic drama, which is set thousands of years before the incidents of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings books. The series' most impressive visual accomplishments nearly make you regret viewing it on a small screen. The 2 episodes offer a preview of the majority of the realms that the 8-part series will take viewers to, such as the island kingdom of Numenor, the elven domains of Lindon and Ergion, the dwarven realm of Khazad-dûm, the Southland, the northernmost wastes, and the Sundering Seas. The views are so gorgeous that we feel as if their full effect can't be taken in without the all-encompassing effect of the big screen. Next up, we have the examination of Howard Shore's main title in the Ringquisition on Symphony. Bear McCreary and Howard Shore contributed to the Season 1 OST of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Shore contributed the show's title theme, while McCreary composed the score for Season 1. 3 Academy Awards have been given to Shore for his score in the feature-picture trilogies of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. For his musical soundtracks for Outlander and God of War, McCreary has won Emmy and BAFTA awards. His music is now being scrutinized and doesn't fit the kind of effect the show is going for. The conflict that's depicted in the show can't be felt through the music. It doesn't do justice or carry the feels for the kind of catastrophic ending of the races shown in the show. Finally, September 2nd in Middle-earth, in honor of J.R.R. Tolkien, we learned the sad news that J.R.R. Tolkien had passed away on September 2nd, 1973. Torn has offered many beautiful tributes over the years. To say that Professor Tolkien has affected our lives and influenced writing, art, costume, online communities, movies, music, video games, and so much more is an understatement. But what will make us love Professor Tolkien for the rest of time is how much his work still stirs our hearts and imaginations. If you're a fan of The Lord of the Rings like us, then you understand the respect and love that we have for him. His work has been life-changing for most of us. When his death anniversary passed this year, we all had a moment of silence for one of the greatest artists that ever lived. He was a true inspiration, and we hope to keep his magic alive through representations of his work for much more time to come. That's a wrap for this video. What did you think about their marketing strategy? Do you also think they're calling fans racist unjustly? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.